People are understanding something, are bringing peace in their lives. And you can be a part of the magic regardless of where you are. So today, I want to talk about what is precious. To us in this world, when we come across something that's unique, something that there isn't much of, then we say, that's precious. The reason why diamonds are considered precious, because there's not that many of them around. Why gold is considered precious? There isn't that much of it around. So when something is scarce, not in abundance, it becomes precious. If there is a painting by an artist, and it's good, hopefully it's good, but the artist is still alive, this means he can make more. It's not so precious. But if the artist dies, now you know he cannot make any more, it becomes precious. So something that is not abundant is precious. But how do you define something that is definitely precious and abundant? What rule do you apply? How do you qualify it? Certainly, if you had a plate full of rice and one grain of rice fell, no big deal. If you had a plate full of diamonds and one diamond fell, big deal. So, I am talking about breath. Is it precious? Of course it is precious. In fact, it is the most precious thing there is. But we don't recognize its preciousness because it is also the most abundant. Most abundant. So you see my predicament. I talk about peace. I talk about the preciousness of life. I talk about that feeling inside. And I have to tell people, that your breath is precious. But it is so abundant that people go, eh. People, in fact, go, what is this thing about breath? If you are in the hospital, dying, and you can't breathe, you're not going to go to the doctor and say, what is this thing about breath? Would you? So, the point of this breath is that this breath brings you life. And because this breath comes into you, you are alive. And because you are alive, that is your life. Not all the things that happen because you are alive. That's not your life. That's not your life. This is the problem. How do most people know that the car engine is running? How do most people know? Because you hear the noise. When you turn it on, you hear the noise. So if you got a CD of an engine noise and put it on your radio, on your CD player, and say, I have this car, and there is no gas required, all I need is a CD. It makes the same noise. You think you are going anywhere? You think you are going anywhere? No. But this is what we do. We think my job, my this, my that, my relationships, my ideas, my responsibilities, my this, my that, my mama, all of these things, that's my life. And so we go, and here's the question. Here's the question. And this question you have been asked so many times that you give the answer for this question without thinking. And you know what the question is? How are you? How are you? after today, after this evening, when somebody asks you, ¿Cómo está usted? You're not just going to go, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. And ¿y tú? And that's it. And that's it. You're not going to do that anymore because you're going to think. You're going to use your cabeza for this. Because you're going to go, here's the question. How are you? How are you? How are you? There have been good days and there have been bad days, have there not? There have been those days that you would gladly have repeated every day. And there have been those days that you do not wish those days upon even your enemy. So how are you? And when I ask you this question, I ask you, are you in peace? Are you in joy? Are you in tranquility? Are you in serenity? Do you feel alive? Because if you don't, something is wrong. Something is not right. The extent of your compromise with the issue of peace is so great that you are more than happy to say, that's life. Some days it's good, some days it's bad, but it's life. That's life. Is it? So before you can answer the question, how are you? I think there's another question which is not asked very frequently. And it must be asked. And tonight, I ask you this question. And you don't have to answer me. Answer to yourself. And the question is, who are you? Don't you think so? Before we get too consumed by how are you, It should be abundantly clear, who are you? Because if I go to a cow and I say, how are you? And the cow says, moo. Okay? This I expect from the cow to go, moo. If the cow starts saying, listen, now I am in trouble. So before you can even dive into that of how are you, it needs to be crystal clear, who are you? So how do you find out? How do you find out? Who are you? Yes, it's easy to say, oh, I'm a human being. What is a human being? Oh, I have a nose, I have 2 eyes, I have 2 ears, I have a mouth, I have a tongue, I have teeth, I have a neck, I have a head, I have a brain inside this somewhere. Are you this being that can feel pain? And joy? Can you feel joy? Have you ever felt joy? Joy. Now everybody is afraid to answer anything. It's like, joy. If you have ever felt joy in your life, then I ask you another question. What business do you have feeling pain when you can feel joy? I mean, if you felt joy and you weren't sure, it's so ordinary. It's like, but pain, wow. Suffering, thinking, crying, depressed. Wow. Then you don't need to be here. You should be in a hospital. This is the wrong place. But If you felt joy, and you said, I like joy. I like clarity. I like peace. Then you're in the right place. Why? Because I will tell you that if this is what you want, then this is the most abundant. Because it is within you. All of you. Me. All of us. Nobody in this world is void of that peace, of that joy, of that happiness inside. The one that comes like a spring, bubbles from the heart of a human being. Who are you? You are then the spring of peace. You are then the residence of divinity. You are then that most incredible marriage fusion of the finite and the infinite. You are then the ocean of hope. You are then the most powerful, the most powerful element that embodies within it the human spirit. So, how do you like that? As an answer for who you are. Have I just stated facts or fiction? No. Don't answer me, you answer to yourself. There are people who say, but look at this world, it's crazy. You see, if you bring a raw diamond to an expert, the raw diamond doesn't looks like a rock. You bring a raw diamond to an expert, and the expert will hold it and say, this is a beautiful diamond. Right? So if you see the craziness of this world, and you say this world is pretty crazy, that makes you a craziness expert. I'm sorry, it does. Doesn't it? Because people tell me all the time why there cannot be peace. They are the unpeace experts. And I tell them, of course there can be peace. Because to bring peace in your life, it is not so much that you have to do something. It is what you don't have to do that will make the difference. Instead of recognizing the weakness, you have to recognize your strength. Why are you alive? Some more facts. What is this? What is this? 70% water, dirt, minerals. When was the last time you heard minerals talking? You remember just a little while ago I said if you go to a cow and the cow goes, listen. Instead of saying moo, the cow goes, listen. Would you be shocked? You should be more shocked with this. This is just dirt. 70% water, the rest is all dirt, minerals, and it can talk. You should be really shocked. This is like walking past a mountain, that has a lake in it, it has trees in it, it has a few cockroaches floating around, and flies, and this and that, and earth, and mud, and minerals, and all of that stuff, and the mountain goes, hello. Ah. You see, this is why you need clarity. Your existence, you do not consider it a miracle. You don't consider it a miracle. It's not recorded as a miracle. It is not considered as a miracle. All the holy men don't come to you, you have to go to them. Right? But if you see milk coming from a rock, that's a miracle. Milk coming from a rock is not miracle, it's unnatural. But to you, that's a miracle. And you look at yourself every day in the mirror, and not once do you consider yourself a miracle. We've got a problem. The miracle doesn't recognize the miracle. The blessed has forgotten what a blessing is. So, you want to know what a blessing is? Yeah. People look at their house and they go, oh, this is God's blessing. Then 2 days later, it falls down. No. If you live in a nice house, that house is your blessing to you. But this, the coming and going of this breath, is God's blessing to you. You don't know? I'm busy. I am busy. I have so many things to do. Oh. Are you busy? So I say it again. If you have ever felt joy in your life and you're not busy feeling that joy, something is wrong. Can you imagine? Can you imagine you buy a stove and it does everything except heat up food? Everything is okay, right? You can say, oh, but you can put your pan on top of it, you can put your pot on top of it, it has a clock, it has this, it has that, it has a light, it has a fan, it even plays music. But it doesn't cook. And of course you will go, that's what I was looking for. Right? You go buy a ticket for an airline, you go to the airport, The airline sign is there, the counter is there, they check your baggage, they check your passport, they do everything, and then they take your ticket and they tell you, we do everything but fly. That's the airline I want. Right? Wrong. But we do exactly the same thing. I have a life, I am alive, I am this, I am that, I am so and so, I am so many years old, I have done this, I have been there, I have done that, and I have done this, and I could do this, and I could do that, but I'm not happy. Something is wrong. And that's why Socrates said, know thyself. Knowing. Knowing. He didn't say, guess who you are. He didn't say, imagine who you are. He said, know who you are. For you, you are the most incredible possibility that ever will be. Because in your clarity, you can change. Not be a slave, but be free. Such is the power of peace. You saw this video about the prison programs. And every time I see it, it's like, wow, it's amazing. Because where are these people? They're in the prison. How much hope do they have? Not much. But slowly, finding that freedom, finding that passion for peace, finding that reality, finding that growth, finding that beauty, and something amazing. Amazing. The power of human being. The power of clarity. In front of a lamp. In front of a lamp. Darkness has no ranking. Very dark, not so dark, little dark. No. As soon as the light lights, the darkness is gone. This is amazing. Because in the beginning of the year, after this video was made, I was invited to come and speak, and I went there. And we're waiting for that second video, which will be the sequel to this video. Because I have been speaking for over 40 years. And when I went and I spoke to them, it was an amazing experience. And I can tell you that At one point in time in that room, there was not one single dry eye. And it wasn't tears of sadness, but how profound is this element of peace, of hope, of clarity, of dignity in every single being on the face of this earth. Your life should be so abundant in joy your life should be so abundant in peace your life should be so abundant in clarity that when your mouth opens to address the divine, only one thing comes out. And you know what that is? Thank you. That's it. No other words. Just thank you. Thank you. That's who you are. Gratitude is your deepest expression. Beyond the smile, and beyond all the things you could say, think, or do, gratitude is your deepest expression. This is who you are. A musician takes a guitar, and before starting to play, strums to hear. And if there is something off tune, to tune it. So I ask you, is your guitar in tune? Because if it is not, tune it. Tune it. Tune it. Tune it. Because anything else is a compromise. You are. Like Kabir said. That there is a drop in the ocean. Everyone knows. But that there is an ocean in the drop, only a few know. You're the drop. And inside of you is the ocean. Do you know? Do you know? Not think. Not think. I think so. Oh, yes, Miraji, I have heard this before. Yes. That's not what I'm talking about. Do you know? Do you know? I'm not talking about ideas. I'm not talking about ideas. I'm not talking about imagination. I'm talking about knowing. What's the difference? What's the difference? What is the difference? So, all your life, you have accumulated recipe books, cookbooks, and you have a huge library, foods from India, foods from America, foods from Australia, foods from France, foods from Argentina, foods from Chile, foods from Peru. And now you're hungry. You can't eat the books. You have to eat food. You have to eat food. There is a line, there is an absolute line between theory and practical. If you were sitting in the back of an airplane and you saw the captain reading a book, and you said, "What are you reading?" And the captain says, "How to fly a plane." And it's okay. I am a good reader. Relax. Enjoy your flight. There is a saying in India. Have you seen old books? They get a worm. There is a worm. It's called a bookworm. And it eats the books. And the saying in India is, do you think the bookworm becomes any wiser? Because it not only reads it, it eats it. No. Don't mistake me, I'm not putting down the books. I have a lot of books, I love to read. But I know the difference. When I am hungry, I know when to close the book and go to the refrigerator. That's the difference most people don't know. To them, they keep turning the pages faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, going, why am I still hungry? And then they go, this peace thing doesn't work. This clarity thing doesn't work. All the things he talks about, it doesn't work because it doesn't work. It hasn't worked for anybody. It won't work because the issue is you. Know thyself, yourself. Have you found the ocean, dear drop? Because if you haven't found that ocean, then something is not right. And that which is precious and abundant is slipping past your fingers. This is how we were born. Empty-handed. And this is how we have to go. Empty-handed. And I'm saying to you, grab that moment of joy. What a journey. That is the journey. Oh, people say, oh, my life is such a journey. Well, if you are lost, you can't call this a journey. Going around in circles is not a journey. That's disaster. Not a journey. A lot of people, I'm searching. People come to me. People used to come to me when I was very, very young. And they would come and they would argue, I'm searching. And I would say, what are you searching for? I'm searching for peace. And I would say, sometimes I would say, well, good luck. Because you will need it. My point is, how can you search for something you never lost? But people love the word searching so much that they have to distance what is there, fundamentally theirs, not here. People go, I'm searching for God. Good luck. Won't find him. Not that way. God. I was in Chile, in my hotel, and the earthquake came. So I consider myself almost an earthquake expert. Because I was in the earthquake, not this last one where the tsunami happened, but a few years ago I was in Japan and the earthquake hit. And it went on for like 4 or 5 days. Every day, day and night. Earthquake, 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 earthquake. I mean, it was not funny. So when this earthquake came, it was like not a big deal. But then I started thinking. People make buildings and they say, this is the house of God. Earthquake comes, shakes the house of God. Then, not too long ago, I was in India. In fact, I'm coming from India through Spain to South America. And I noticed all the devotees going into the temple. So going into the temple, I understand. But I was confused when I saw them coming back out. I mean, you're going to God's house, you finally make it in, you're going to leave? I'm different than you then. Because if I go to God's house, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. So, God is much smarter than that. So where does God make the house? In the heart of all of us. Smart. Earthquake? Not a problem. You know, if God was something on the outside, and we had to carry God with us, you know what would happen, don't you? We would forget God somewhere. Oops! I forgot God in the airplane. I forgot God in the bathroom. I forgot God at home. Oh my God! Super smart. Super smart. Dwell in the heart. You automatically go wherever you go. Cannot be separated. And then when it is separated, no more. The show is finished. The dirt now will be in its element. It's not in its element here. This is a miracle. Then when that divinity is gone, when that breath is gone, then this will go back in its element. So, this is who you are. Now, you are more qualified to answer how are you? And next time somebody says that, how are you? Smile. Just think of what I said tonight. That should give you something to smile about. You're the ocean in the drop. How are you? If you're in that place, a heart full of gratitude, that clarity, with that peace dancing inside of you, how are you? How are you? There's no words. There are no words to describe how you are. No words. No words. This is the place where the most precious comes in abundance. The most precious is abundant. Well, I think that sorts a few things out. I hope few misconceptions put aside. It is not about death, my friends. It's about life. It's about life. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't. But tomorrow, if you get up, don't think about your problems. Truly understand, without doubt, how fortunate you are. It's the little things, the way we see things. We need to see us through God's eyes. Not through ours, through God's eyes. Then we'll understand the value of this breath. Then we will understand what peace is. Truly, what peace is. So, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for coming this evening. And please, take care of yourselves. Good night. Thank you.